Hello and welcome back to the Frugal Granny channel. I'm Frugal Granny. My name's Ali. I'm a 64-and-a-half-year-old semi-retiree. I retired from my office job at the beginning of June and I'm now working a part-time job in a supermarket, running this little YouTube channel and trying to do the best I can with what I've got over the next 2 years until I get my state pension. If you're new here, you're really welcome. And if you want to know a little bit more about me, then you can go to my homepage, go back to the beginning of it all and watch Hello, I'm Frugal Granny UK. That should give you a little bit of context. If you're a returning viewer, it's really good to see you again. And I've heard from a few new returning viewers that they've been binge watching my videos right from the beginning. So thank you to those of you who've been doing that. I must admit that must be quite a marathon. Hats off to you. Thank you very much. Anyway, today, as I promised in the last video, we're just going to look at my discretionary spending for June, and then we can round off June and move on as we mean to go on into July and beyond. Before we do that though, I've got a few more people I need to thank. Steve, Jeanette and Nicola, thank you so much for the buy me a coffee. And Mel Bunobert, you have got to stop giving me super thanks, but thank you very, very much. I really do appreciate the support. I mean, it's a hat trick now from you, and really, you don't need to do that, but I'm really, really very grateful. And before we start to go through the discretionary spending for June, there's just been a bit of an update with my office job annuity that I thought I would share with you. I went into my email last night and I found an email from the annuity administrator, and I opened that up and they have confirmed the amount of my pension fund. They have said that the 25% lump sum that's tax-free is on its way to me, should reach my account in the next few days. At least it's on the way, and that's really, really great. And the remaining 75% has now been sent to the annuity provider to start processing the provision of my annuity. So that's really good news. I hadn't expected that to happen so quickly, so I'm really pleased about that. As you saw from my spider diagram in the video setting up my buffer fund, that lump sum will come into my holding account. And last night I did a little bit of digging around online to see if I could find the best interest rate for a saver with the banks that I bank with, and I'm still thinking about what to do. I want to keep that money accessible for the time being, so I don't really want to be locking that up in a fixed term bond or anything, but I think I've found an account that will do. It's not one that's available online, it's only available to customers with that particular bank who opened that account a while back, and the bank's actually decided to extend the term of that account. So I think I'm going to take advantage of that for the next year. And then what I think I will do is move some of the money into what they call a monthly saver that's got a higher interest rate over each month, but as it builds up over the year, and then at the end of the year you get your interest. But in actual fact, I need to sit and do the maths on that, because sometimes 6.25% sounds fantastic, but if you're like just putting a little bit in every month, what you get at the end can sometimes not be much more than just leaving the whole lot in a so-called high interest account anyway. So I don't want to be moving my money around, causing myself a lot of work for nothing. So that's given me something to think about, as if I haven't got enough to think about, how to maximise that lump sum without locking it up. I mean, obviously I've got the lump sums from the two other annuities, and those are locked up. One's in a fixed term ISA, and the other one is in I think a fixed term bond, so I can't touch those, and that was deliberate. I wanted to make sure I didn't dive into that money, because once you sort of break into, it's like breaking into a £5 note. Once you've broken into it, it's gone. So I didn't want to touch it. Anyway, so that's the news on the annuity. I suppose I really should have saved that for Coffee and Catch Up 9 next week, but I was so excited, I just wanted to share that. And the other exciting thing that happened last night. I was just chatting to this lady who came through the till, and she confided in me that she was like staying with the lady that she was with, and she'd come over on a holiday. And I said, well, where have you come from? And she said, Nashville. And I said, oh, that's exciting. And we got talking, and did she like the UK, and was this her first visit? And then at the end of the shift, I got called over by my supervisor, and he said that a lady in a yellow dress had been very, very impressed with my customer service, and he gave me a bottle of wine. So there you are. Those of you who have been worried about me getting my glass of wine on a Friday night, I got one. So there you are. Yeah, right. On that note, let's have a look at my discretionary spending analysis for June. I've got my laptop on the other side today. I've been trying to reduce the screen reflection in my glasses, but I don't actually think I've been very successful. Well, June's discretionary spending has been a bit complicated because I bought some gift cards from my previous office employer to try and save money. They have a customer benefit website portal where you can save money by buying gift cards. So I'd bought two gift cards for £50 each, and I saved £3 by doing that. But the only problem with that is that I've now not got the data listed in my spreadsheet for my purchases, and I've had to go rummaging through the gift card receipts to see what I spent that money on. So I'm not going to be able to give such a comprehensive analysis of my spending this month. But otherwise, the money that wasn't on the gift cards, I can talk about a little bit more categorically. So in June, once I'd allocated money to my sinking funds, it says here that I had £202.71 left for food and discretionary spending. And I've, like I did last month, copied and pasted my transactions into a different spreadsheet, sorted them all out so that I've got sort of categories of what I spent them on, and then I can have a look at how the money was spent. Well, last month I seemed to spend an awful lot of money on food while I was on shift at the supermarket, and I determined not to do that again this month, but unfortunately I failed, and I think I've actually spent more on food on shift this month than I did last month. I've got 2 meal deals and a bottle of water detailed that were not on the gift card, and I know from rummaging through the gift cards that there's another couple of meal deals and bottles of water in there as well, but the ones that weren't on the gift card came to £7.25, and again, that's money that I could have saved if I'd thought ahead and packed a lunch at home. So now that I haven't got 2 jobs and I'm literally down to a part-time job at the supermarket, that is my goal for July, is to make sure that when I'm going to the supermarket, if I think I need something to eat that's going to be beyond beans on toast, then I'm going to have to think ahead and pack it. I really have to make an effort with that now, because I cannot afford to be spending £7.25 on sandwiches, and there would have been another 2 meal deals on top of that in one of the gift cards, which would have probably doubled that to £14.50. It's not acceptable. I've got to stop doing that. That really is somewhere where I can cut back, and that's why it's so good to look at your expenditure at the end of the month, because you can sort of think, yeah, okay, I did that and I know why I did that, but really I need to just sort of pull my horns in a bit going forward and not do that again. And I really must not do that again now. I had quite a few bits and bobs that I spent that were not food. There were a couple of ice creams in the park. As I said last month, ice cream in the park's gone up from £2.50 to £3. And one of the ice creams I actually went into the cafe to buy, and that was £3.20. And again, it's a lot of money for ice cream, and I think treating myself to ice cream in the park is going to stop. And having looked at Jane's video, Frugal Queen in France's video on treats, I really do think that ice creams in the park are a treat for me. They're not necessary. They've become a bit of a habit, and it's going to have to stop. They're not a treat. They are an indulgence. Let's use her term. They're an indulgence, and they've got to stop, as are the meal deals. 2 indulgences that need to stop. I bought myself a book. Oh, it's all going to be back to front, this, but I like to read Scandinavian crime novels, and I like Camilla Läckberg's Fellbeck series, and that's the latest one in that. So I've bought myself that off Amazon, and that was £7.52. That was a treat. That's a real treat, and I'm going to try and make time to read that. I've not been very good with reading since the pandemic, and I really need to get myself back into reading. The other thing I've bought for myself is I bought some sunflowers, which were £6, and I bought some smoked salmon, yellow label, on the same receipt. I just thought I'm going to treat myself, and that was a treat. I was on my own that evening, and I had some crusty bread with smoked salmon and sat and looked at the sunflowers while I ate it, and it was a lovely little treat. And so I'm not going to say I'm not going to do that again, because I read somewhere that Confucius said, with your last pound or penny, buy yourself bread and a lily. So, talking about practicalities and beauty. So I bought myself smoked salmon and a sunflower, which is sort of equivalent. I bought those with my last £10. Actually, it was probably came in at £8.82. That did. And then the other thing I bought that was not food were some Hungry Caterpillar plate, bowls and cups. I bought 2 of each for when my grandkids are here the week after next. And I thought that was necessary because I have a stone floor in my kitchen, and I just thought I don't want them dropping my porcelain plates on the stone floor. So I bought these nice little Hungry Caterpillar plates, which made me laugh a little bit, and they can take them with them when they go and stay with my daughter-in-law's family. That's where they're going after me. The other big expense with my discretionary spending in June was some extra petrol. I basically, as a sort of birthday present, drove my son and his girlfriend all the way to the international airport because they went off on a holiday together, and the train was going to be ridiculously expensive. So I drove them to the airport and back, and that petrol cost me $37.78, which was effectively his birthday present. So don't ask me to ask him to refund that money to me. No, that was a birthday present to him, and so we're not asking him for that back. But that ate a big chunk out of my £202. But I've got some of that petrol left. I think my tank is about half full, and I need to put another £25 in, so it should be probably almost full by then, and that hopefully will get me through miscellaneous trips to the tip, the dump, and running around while my family's here at the end of the month. So yeah, petrol was a big one this month, and that was a birthday present, and I'm going to use it for other things. That won't be happening again either in terms of filling up with petrol, except for going to the college reunion. But as I said in one of my previous videos, I've put 60 quid aside for that weekend, so petrol for that weekend will come out of that. Then what else did I do? I did a little bit of bulk buy shopping. I bought a Sainsbury's gift card from my previous employer and I saved 60 pence. It's not a lot of saving, but I went to Sainsbury's and I bulk bought some cheese from there because it actually worked out cheaper than me buying the cheap cheese in the supermarket where I work, even with colleague discounts. So I bulk bought some cheese which is stacked in the back of my fridge, and that should see us all through the summer. I won't be doing that again because bulk buying takes a big chunk out of my money, and also I want to try and stop eating so much cheese going forward. But that came in at the gift card was £19.40. It was a £20 gift card, so I saved 60p, and then I spent an extra 13 pence just to make sure, 13 pence of my own money just to make sure that gift card was clear, because I won't be going back to Sainsbury's again for a while. I find it very expensive. And then the other thing I did was I hit a yellow label gold mine one day, and I bought some mince sausages and some trays of chicken thigh fillets, and I spent £7.47, and I don't honestly know how they were reduced so much, but the savings there were £25.65, so that was a bulk buy I couldn't pass up, and it was a yellow label buy, and I bought that as a customer, and that's gone in my freezer, and that will help with the family visit later this month. That was a really lucky day, that one. And then the other thing I bought was a big tub of the more natural type of peanut butter for my son. That was £4.95, but it was on offer and I saved £1.85. So my bulk purchases this month for food came in there at £31.95, which is again quite a lot. Then the general housekeeping, the two gift cards were the two £50 gift cards, and I saved £3, so that came in at £47. And then on top of that, using my debit card, I bought a couple of Danish pastries and some nut bread and another loaf of bread, sliced bread, and some fig rolls. The bread was on yellow label offer, and so that food shopping came in at £98.69. Now, unfortunately, I can't really go through all of the receipts for the gift cards and tell you what I spent that £47 on. So for that reason, and for the reason that buying gift cards sort of ties your money up a bit, and also because I'm not at the office job anymore and I don't have access to that benefit website, I'm not going to be using gift cards going forward, because I want to be able to analyse with you my spending and look at, where improvements could be made, etc., etc. And the other thing that I've realised that doesn't work very well for this channel is colleague shop deals. They're not accessible to the general public, and I just keep thinking that it's not very realistic for me to be describing food and meals that I've made with those sorts of offers, because they're not accessible to everyone else. So unless there's some amazing offer, I'm not going to be doing that anymore, because I want to try and make any food related content on this channel as relatable to all of the rest of you as I possibly can. I mean, I have made use of the colleague shop at the supermarket this month, and I've been through what I've bought. It's not been much. It's mainly been Danish pastries, a few treats like cheese, double Gloucester cheese. There was some one night. And I've looked at it and I've thought, you know, with my new healthy eating resolutions, these are all things that I honestly really do not need to be picking up. So apart from fruit and vegetables, I really am going to try and cut back on that now going forward, just so that any food related content that I put on this channel is more relatable to those of you who are watching. But obviously, if there's a really good deal sat there in front of me, I'm not going to leave it there, am I? No, I'm not. No. Anyway, so let's just have a look. Well, with the meals on shift, the treats like ice creams, books, and oh, I forgot, in that treat section I bought a bag of compost from B&Q for some Busy Lizzies I bought from the supermarket via a gift card. Yep, so those, the treat section, indulgences section 33.34, petrol 37.78, bulk shopping 31.95, and just run-of-the-mill shopping 98.69. So I think going forward, main thing that will be kept is the everyday shopping, which on here is 98.69. Obviously we've got to have a few little treats in life, so there will be some of those. But I was just thinking about how I could break my shopping down and analyse it a bit better, having used a gift card at the supermarket. And I was just, I was talking about this to a customer. I was just saying it'd be really good if we could see our itemised purchases online. So I've done a little bit of research, and if you are a customer with the supermarket that I work for, you can actually go onto their website and make a data request. And I think I might actually just do that and make a data request for the last 12 months and have a look at what I've bought and analyse that. I honestly don't know if I'm brave enough to make this request, but I don't think it can do any harm, really. It might be quite interesting. I know I've eaten very badly over the last 12 months. Not sure I really want to rub my nose in that information, but it could be interesting. But anyway, I think going forward things are really going to change with my grocery shopping and my discretionary spending each month. I really have got to tighten up. I've already said I want to be eating more consciously and healthily. I'm going to be keeping the same sort of budget, but I do want to eat through the food that I've got in the house. I need to reduce that again. I mean, I downsized the pantry last year, and this year, I think this summer particularly, I need to downsize the freezers. I mean, my son's not going to be living with me forever, and I don't want to be left with stacks of food. So that is, I think, the next priority is to get the food in the freezer eaten up. And as I said in my last video, I've already spent most of the £100 gift card I bought for July, so I really do need to use up what I've got in the pantry, the cupboards and my freezer. So I'm sorry, it's not really a terribly interesting video this morning, but that's my roundup for June. And I'm not sure quite what we're going to do on Monday. I did think that tomorrow morning, when I've got a little bit of time, or maybe after my overtime tomorrow when I get home, I might use my newfound iPad skills to try and film a cooking video. And we could see what happens with that on Monday. And then Thursday obviously will be coffee and catch up again, and I'm not sure quite what we will do next Saturday. I do have a sort of schedule, but as I said, I've got family coming. I'm going to have to think about some things that I can film in advance, and I would like to keep one or two sort of films on hand, you know, on the back burner, just in case for some reason, you know, there's some sort of emergency and I need something to upload quick, sharp. So a, you know, sort of filler emergency video. So next week I'm hoping to get ready for my family's visit, get ready for the removal van that's coming from my other son's flat, and get some videos, you know, done and saved up, ready for the rest of the month and for emergencies. So anyway, I hope you're having a lovely weekend, especially those of you watching in the States who've, you know, you've had your 4th of July yesterday. I hope you're having a good holiday weekend. And I'll talk to you on Monday, and hopefully, fingers crossed, hopefully it will be my first cooking video. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. There's no Kitty today. Actually, I'm going to see if I can cut the video and put a shot of Kitty in. I'm going to film her. She's fast asleep behind me on the bed, snoring as usual. Anyway, it's breakfast time now. I'm going to go and have breakfast and then try and get that split bean bag in the car without filling my car with beans, and see if we can get things to the tip. Anyway, it's nice to see you, and I'll talk to you again on Monday. Bye-bye now. Oh, Kitty, 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 Kitty. Okay, I've just got back from the tip, or the household waste recycling centre, as they like to call it. And thankfully I managed to get in there, get rid of the bean bag, get rid of the finial, the toaster, a couple of other broken bits of electricals. Unfortunately, I took the mortar from the gutter as well, bag of decorating waste that the contractor left behind, and some stones from the garden. But while I was down here, I just wanted to show you the sunflowers that I bought with my last £10 from June's money. And I stopped at the Range stroke Home Base stroke Wilko on the way back and rescued a couple of plants. So I'll just show you those as well. And then I'm going to go upstairs, see if I can fix all this together and make you a video. 1 minute. So here are the wonderful sunflowers that I bought, and while I was at the Range I popped in and I got a net for the garden because the pigeons have found my kale, and there's a really cheeky pigeon who visits my garden every year, and I thought by not growing kale last year he might just go away, but no, he's back. Unfortunately, this netting has cost me about £4.50, which is twice as much as it usually costs. So I'm going to cut it in half, and I'm going to be very sparing with it. And when the summer is over, I'm going to be very, very careful to store it so I can keep it for next year. And then while I was in Home Base and the Range, I found these lovely little, what are they called? White hortensia. Hang on, I'm going to try and do this carefully. £8.99, 75% off because they're half dead. I'm soaking them in some water. I've run water through them. I'm soaking them in water. The leaves are they're not brittle yet. They've still got, they've still got a little bit of give in them. So I'm hoping that these might revive, because they'll be really, really pretty in the garden in a couple of pots. I really must stop buying plants for pots. But these two came in at £4.50, so I've spent just under a tenner on a net and two little salvageable, I hope, hydrangeas. 1 minute. And now you're really going to laugh. Because I've got the family coming, and last year I took them all out for lunch and it cost me nearly £200. One of my sons said, why don't we just do something at home? These barrel barbecues were on offer at Tesco. They were on clearance. And so I decided to get one of these with the money that's coming from Buy Me a Coffee. So thank you all the Buy Me a Coffee donors. I didn't buy coffee, and I didn't actually buy a bottle of wine. I'm really sorry. I decided to buy this barbecue and 2 bags of charcoal so that I could treat my family when they're here. Anyway, guess who this is? Kitty. Come on, Kitty, your fans want to see you. There's a good girl. You such a good girl, aren't you? Yes, you are. I know. Mummy's talking again. Mummy's talking to herself again. Oh, it's so hot. Right, so I'm going to go upstairs now with my coffee and see if I can make my original boring video slightly more interesting. Okay, then. Bye-bye.